Jorge Sampaoli is an Argentine football manager, currently coaching the Chile national football team. Sampaoli started out as a youth player and eventually switched to management due to a severe injury. Sampaoli started with an impressive managerial period at Coronel Bolognesi in 2006, and then again with a brief but successful period at O'Higgins and Emelec. Sampaoli definitively consecrated as a head coach in 2011 to 2012 with Universidad de Chile, winning 3 league titles and the Copa Sudamericana championship. This success led him to coach the Chilean men's national team in 2013, replacing the previous coach. He is well known for his attack tactics, similar to those of Marcelo Bielsa according to the press and fans alike. Early life: he was born in ๊xorxe, a small town located in ๊xorxe department of Santa Fe province. In his youth, Sampaoli was very passionate about football, playing for amateur sides in his hometown league, and then joining the Newell's Old Boys youth ranks, where he suffered a tibia and fibula injury in 1979, forcing his retirement at the age of 19. After his injury, Sampaoli decided to start his managerial career at amateur side Aprendices ๊xorxenses in 1992. 4 seasons later, he led Belgrano de Arequito to the championship. During the same season, the authorities forbade him access to the stadium. A photo of the scene appeared in the Rosario newspaper La Capital, drawing attention of his former club president Eduardo José copyright La Cubed Pez, who offered him the chance to coach their reserve club Argentino de Rosario. Managerial career: first hit at Peru. In January 2002, Sampaoli was contacted by the Peruvian club Juan Aurich, after 4 seasons at Primera B Metropolitana with Argentino. He finally signed up with the club of Chiclayo and Primera División Cubden, being that the first professional club in his career. On February 24, he directed his first professional game against Universitario, where he lost 2-1 after winning the whole game due to a penalty kick well scored by Carlos Flores, when the striker and his compatriot Marta N. Villalonga due to another penalty tied the game. Finally, the mythical and experienced midfielder José Copyright del Solar set up his side at 92nd minute. However, Sampaoli had a poor spell in Juan Aurich, directing only 8 games, where 5 were lost and 2 were tied with Cupsal Trujillo and Alianza Lima, only winning against Cienciano 2-0 with goals of Copyright Zalzar Nchez and Carlos Flores. Sampaoli left the club in May, when Aurich was sitting at the bottom of the table. Months later, in June, he was hired by Sport Boys to direct the team in the Torneo Descentralizado, debuting with a 2-0 victory over Coronel Bolognesi, finishing 6th in the tournament, with important triumphs over Alianza and Universitario. Then, in 2004, he was hired by Tacna side Coronel Bolognesi. There, he had an irregular start, but soon managed to settle as a strong team in the Peruvian 2005's Descentralizado, finishing 5th in the Apertura, and then managed to finish 3rd in that same year's ๊xorxe, taking the club to their first international competition when Bolo qualified to a preliminary stage of the 2006's Copa Sudamericana, being eliminated by Chilean side and eventual finalists Colo-Colo. He then returned to the Peruvian side to compete in the 2006's ๊xorxe as well as in the Sudamericana, finishing 3rd in the National League. In 2007 he was hired as the head coach of Sporting Cristal. However, it turned out to be a disappointing year after 17 matches and only 4 wins. At the end of the year Sampaoli got dismissed from the Celestes, thus ending his Peruvian journey. Spells in Chile and Ecuador. Towards the end of 2007 Sampaoli arrived to Chile to take charge of O'Higgins FC. In 2008, the team proved to be a tough nut to crack for bigger Chilean teams, finishing 3rd in that year's Apertura. They were eliminated by powerhouse Universidad de Chile in the playoff quarterfinals. The next year turned out to be a tough year for Sampaoli, as La Celeste had an irregular campaign, where they finished in 8th place, and, despite qualifying to the 2009's Apertura playoffs, ended up being thrashed 6-1 in the second leg of the quarterfinals by Santiago side Unicubden Espar +or- Ola. Sampaoli was fired in August 2009. In 2010, Emelec got in contact with Sampaoli and asked him for his managerial duties, thus competing in the 2010 Copa Libertadores, being eliminated in the group stage, but had an impressive run in the local competition, finishing first in the 2010's tournament first stage, which earned them a spot in the next 2010 Copa Sudamericana and 2011 Copa Libertadores preliminary stage. That year, Emelec faced Liga de Quito, who had reached first place in that year's second half, but ended up losing it. Chile. On December 3, 2012, Chile, a Euro unregistered trademark S. National Association of Professional Football announced that Sampaoli will take over as manager of the national team after a successful run with Universidad de Chile, where he helped the club capture 3 league titles and the Copa Sudamericana. Sampaoli's arrival has brought about a turnaround in performances and results, with Chile having won 3 of their 4 World Cup qualifiers since his appointment. Under Sampaoli, Chile have returned to the energetic, high-pressing game of Marcelo Bielsa, the Argentinian coach upon whose philosophy Sampaoli's is predicated. Honours: Club, Universidad de Chile, Torneo Apertura, 2011, 2012, Torneo Clausura, 2011, Copa Sudamericana, 2011, References